The evening I found myself in Tom's room transformed into one of the most unforgettable experiences of my life. It began on a seemingly ordinary Monday, cloaked in the allure of unexpressed emotions. As I reclined in my bed, my gaze drifted to the ceiling, the soft tick of the clock on my nightstand echoing the slow passage of time, each second a reminder of the moments that lingered in the air. For weeks, restful slumber had eluded me, leaving me in a haze of longing and desire. The bed felt vast and lonely, the void beside me a lingering echo of my husband's frequent absences. He claimed that work was the reason for his late nights away from home. There were moments when he simply vanished, weaving tales of exhaustion from client dinners or business trips, leaving behind an air of longing and unexpressed emotions. I had long ceased to ponder the reasons, yet the lingering silence wrapped around me like a shroud, foreboding, as if a fragment of my very essence was quietly fading into the shadows unnoticed. Tom, however, had been residing in our guest room for the past year, a presence that lingered with an lingering unease. He and my husband shared a long history, so when Tom found himself in need of a temporary home between jobs, I couldn't refuse the invitation to welcome him in. As time passed, I began to observe nuances about him that had previously escaped my notice. Now at 24, he possessed a captivating strength in his physique, and there was an undeniable self-assurance in the way he carried himself that drew me in irresistibly. The once carefree boy who scattered soda cans like breadcrumbs had evolved into a figure that ignited a tumult of emotions within me, stirring my heart with both bewilderment and an exhilarating hint of the forbidden. I chastised my own heart for harboring such forbidden emotions. What sort of woman finds herself drawn to a friend within the intimate confines of her own home? Yet the more I endeavored to suppress these desires, the more fervently they ignited within me. As the clock ticked into the depths of Monday night, a soft whisper of footsteps echoed through the quiet hallway, stirring the air with silent understanding. My heart raced and I found myself holding my breath, captivated by the fading echoes around me. It was only Tom, likely seeking a simple drink of water, I reassured myself, though my hands trembled with anticipation. I closed my eyes tightly, summoning every ounce of composure within me. He's merely a tenant, a companion in this shared space. Yet the tension lingered thick and undeniable. Uncertainty enveloped me, yet I sensed a profound transformation stirring within my very core. The following morning I discovered Tom in the kitchen, casually leaning against the counter, a mug of steaming coffee cradled in his hands. Sunlight streaming through the window accentuated the contours of his face, bathing his skin in a soft, golden glow that felt almost intimate. His eyes met mine as I entered, a subtle half-smile playing on his lips. "Good morning," he murmured, his voice low and tinged with a hint of desire. Morning arrived, and I found myself preoccupied with the coffee maker, desperately avoiding the temptation to gaze at him any longer. "Did rest elude you last night?" he inquired, his voice low and inviting. "What makes you think that?" I responded, taken aback. He nonchalantly shrugged, savoring the taste as he took a sip. "I noticed the restless movements of your body in the night. I sensed that something might be weighing on your mind." I released a laugh that came out a bit too hastily. "Perhaps my thoughts are simply too tangled to unravel." He nodded, a contemplative glint in his eye, as if weighing the unexpressed emotions that lingered between them. "Same," he said, and that single word hung in the air, thick with an lingering unease that neither of us dared to define. That afternoon I found myself in the living room, the soft rustle of fabric in my hands as I folded laundry, the TV's gentle murmur creating an intimate backdrop to my thoughts. Tom lounged on the couch, his fingers gliding over his phone, lost in a world of enticing distractions. What was meant to be a mundane moment became charged with an undeniable allure as my gaze lingered on him. "Is folding laundry a task you ever indulge in? Or does that remain solely my responsibility?" I playfully provoked, attempting to weave my intentions into something more intricate. Andy with an air of effortless allure. He raised his gaze, a sly smile playing on his lips. "I believe that was a privilege reserved solely for you. I wouldn't dare to claim it from you." "Oh, you are utterly infuriating," I retorted, playfully tossing a crumpled sock in his direction. He seized it with a playful chuckle, then sent it soaring back in a soft, graceful curve. "Very well, I shall lend my assistance." He gracefully descended from the couch, kneeling beside me as he reached for a soft, fresh towel. He folded it with an unexpected elegance, a skill that hinted at deeper, unexpressed emotions. I gazed at him with a hint of playful intrigue. It seems there are many secrets yet to be uncovered between us, I mused. He cast a lingering look my way, a heat that sent shivers down my spine. You might find it intriguing just how far I can go when I truly set my mind to it. My heart raced at the gentle tone of his voice. His words danced on the edge of flirtation, yet there lingered a deeper, unspoken allure beneath the surface. I averted my gaze, my attention drawn to the crumpled t-shirt nestled in my grasp. Well, let's see how steadfast you truly are, I teased, my laughter escaping like a whisper, light yet tinged with something deeper. Anything to bring you pleasure, he whispered, his voice low and inviting. My cheeks flushed at the tender warmth in his voice. That evening, I retired to my chamber early, yet slumber eluded me, teasing my restless mind with thoughts that danced just beyond reach. The night enveloped me in solitude, the space beside me cold and unoccupied, a reminder of his absence. As the clock struck midnight, a profound sense of solitude enveloped me, revealing depths of longing I had yet to confront. The memory of Tom's subtle smile and the unspoken worry reflected in his gaze lingered in my mind, stirring something deep within me. For countless months, I had been deprived of the sensation of truly being noticed. I came to understand that Tom had a way of making me feel truly seen, cherished in a way that stirred something deep within me. Then arrived the moment that took me completely by surprise. The soft rustle in the hallway sent a thrill through me, my heart racing with anticipation. I had promised myself to remain within the confines of my room, to resist the allure of impulsive actions. Yet an irresistible pull within me urged me onward, guiding me from the warmth of my bed and through the hushed corridor, until I found myself poised before Tom's slightly ajar door. Though my mind urged me to retreat, I found myself drawn to the door, pushing it open despite the warnings echoing within me. Within the room, a soft lamp illuminated the space, creating an intimate dance of shadows that quiet confessions against the walls. Tom's back was slightly turned, creating an air of intrigue. He perched on the edge of his bed, a palpable tension radiating from his shoulders. My breath hitched as I noticed the object cradled in his hands, a small photograph seemingly of me. The edges appeared gently frayed, hinting at a tender habit of seeking solace in its familiar embrace. He was blissfully unaware of my arrival. His thumb glided softly over my face in the picture, a gesture that felt both intimate and charged with unspoken desire. My heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of surprise, intrigue, and a deliciously unsettling excitement. "Is that you, Tom?" I breathed softly. Startled, he turned sharply, the photo slipping from his fingers, a fleeting moment of vulnerability hanging in the air between them. As his gaze met mine, a moment of surprise danced across his features, quickly replaced by a warm blush that suggested a hint of shyness. He hurriedly snatched the picture, clutching it to his chest as if to shield it from prying eyes. "I apologize. I never intended for this to happen." His voice softened, lingering in the air like in silent understanding. My heart raced with such intensity, I wondered if he could sense its rhythm. I closed the door softly, taking a step into the unknown. "That's an image of me," I murmured softly. "From where did you acquire that intriguing piece?" He swallowed hard, his eyes flickering to the side, avoiding the intensity of the moment. "It was captured a few years back, during a sultry barbecue gathering. It found its way to me and I chose to hold on to it." He paused, his voice lowering to a sultry whisper. "I apologize. I understand it may seem unconventional. I simply, at times I gaze upon it and ponder whether you find joy in it. Your essence radiates a sense of liberation in this image." Warmth surged through my cheeks. Instead of feeling anger or discomfort, his confession wrapped around my heart, stirring emotions I hadn't anticipated. "What makes you believe that I am not content?" I let out a fragile chuckle, tinged with a lingering unease. "In the embrace of my marriage, I find comfort within the walls of my lovely home, where the rhythm of daily life unfolds with a familiar grace." He lingered in that moment, shoulders heavy, his gaze locking onto mine with a fervor that sent shivers down my spine. "I believe you are worthy of so much more," he murmured softly. "Yet here I am, fully aware that I might be crossing a line by uttering these words. Yet, each time our eyes meet, I feel an unspoken void, as if you bear the burdens of existence all on your own. I found myself grappling with the truth, yet my lips remained sealed, unable to voice the unspoken desire that lingered in the air. Instead, I found myself inching nearer, captivated by the raw vulnerability reflected in his gaze. I settled onto the bed beside him, careful to maintain a respectful distance. He held the photo tightly in his hands, as if it were a secret too precious to let go. In the soft glow of the dim light, my face emerged from that small piece of paper, a smile captured in a fleeting moment that danced just beyond the edges of my memory. "You hold on to my picture," I whispered, a sense of disbelief lingering in the air. "What is the reason behind this?" His gaze lingered, a subtle tension hanging in the air. "For you linger in my thoughts, an irresistible presence I cannot shake." My stomach twisted with a thrilling anticipation. In that fleeting silence, words hung in the air, heavy with unexpressed emotions. The stillness enveloped us, punctuated only by our breaths, each one a tantalizing whisper of tension and longing. Outside, the house lay in a hushed stillness, as if holding its breath in anticipation. In that moment, it seemed as though the vastness of the world had contracted, leaving only the two of us enveloped in this delicate, charged atmosphere. "Tom, my heart dances at the mere thought of you," a forbidden melody that lingers in the shadows of our connection. Each moment we share feels like a stolen glance, a secret spoken in the quiet hours, igniting a fire that both excites and terrifies me. Your presence is intoxicating, drawing me closer to the edge of what we dare to explore together. I started, my voice quivering with a mix of desire and hesitation, aware of the vows that bind me. He offered a subtle nod, his breath escaping in a tremor of anticipation. "I understand. I despise the way this feels so beautifully forbidden. However, there's a certain allure in the way I feel when I'm near you, a strong connection that I can't quite resist." Every part of me came undone. Before I could restrain my impulses, my fingers glided softly over his forearm, igniting a spark of unspoken desire. He exhaled deeply, his hand turning palm up, inviting our fingers to intertwine in a delicate embrace. The touch ignited a spark, affirming a myriad of desires that lingered in the shadows, unvoiced yet palpable. "I've attempted to push it aside," I confessed, my heart racing wildly within my chest. "I attempted to convince myself that you were merely a friend, or perhaps just an old acquaintance of my husband. Yet I can no longer deceive my own heart. In the quiet moments, a sense of longing envelopes me. And you awaken a part of me that longs to be understood." He tightened his grip on my hand, drawing me nearer, the air thick with unexpressed emotions. The heat of his body wrapped around me, stirring a deep yearning that coursed through my veins. We were so near that I could make out the delicate stubble gracing his jaw, the quickened rhythm of his breath as it danced in and out. "I want to be the one who fills the emptiness in your heart," he murmured, his voice a gentle caress. His words, unadorned yet brimming with passion, shattered the final barrier of my self-control. I leaned in, brushing my lips against his, igniting a spark in the air between us. It began softly, a delicate dance of uncertainty, our hearts racing with a thrilling blend of anticipation and trepidation. As his lips met mine once more, the moment lingered, enveloping me in a whirlwind of powerful connection. My hand gently traced the nape of his neck, while his fingers wove through my hair, creating an intimate connection between us. We momentarily separated, our breaths mingling in the charged air. His eyes drifted to the photograph nestled in his lap, then returned to me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. A tremulous laugh slipped from my lips, a blend of sorrow and sweet release. "I never thought we would find ourselves in this moment." He pressed his forehead gently against mine, a moment suspended in time, charged with unexpressed emotions. Countless times my thoughts have wandered to that forbidden place. My heart ached with a delicious tension. "I shouldn't find joy in this," I murmured softly. "Yet, I find myself drawn to the truth of it." The ensuing moments melted into a haze of entwined bodies and quiet confessions, each breath heavy with unexpressed emotions. The weight of my personal conflict lingered in the shadows of my thoughts, yet it was swiftly overshadowed by an insatiable longing to be craved, to be cherished in a way that felt deliciously forbidden. In that moment I was awakened, as if the rhythm of my heart had finally returned to my own control. And in the way Tom embraced me, it was as if he too sensed that intoxicating, compelling draw. In the dim light, we found ourselves side by side on his bed, the photograph resting near the pillow, a quiet guardian of our hidden desires. It was almost surreal, the moment I realized I had ventured into uncharted territory, stepping over a boundary I never imagined I would dare to breach. Outside, the soft glow of the moon slipped through the curtains, creating delicate patterns of light that danced across the walls, hinting at secrets waiting to be uncovered. "What comes next?" I whispered softly, my fingertips gliding along his forearm, savoring the electric connection between us. He trembled at the caress, yet remained rooted in place. "I don't know," he confessed, his gaze locking onto mine as he turned his head, the air thick with lingering unease. I find myself unburdened by regret in this moment. A single tear traced a path down my cheek, born from a tangled mix of relief, fear, and a flicker of something that felt like hope. I didn't either, yet I persevered, though my voice faltered slightly. Yet, a new chapter awaits, one that promises to unravel the familiar and embrace the unexpected. He nodded, a flicker of concern weaving through the lines of his forehead. "I understand. I regret if my actions have complicated things for you. I hushed him with a gentle kiss, allowing my lips to express what my words dared not reveal. We remained entwined in that delicate stillness, two souls suspended in a fleeting embrace, fully aware that this exquisite interlude was destined to fade away. At last I gathered the strength to rise, feeling the weight of the moment linger in the air. The clock on his nightstand quiet confessions of the night, its hands delicately tracing just past 3 in the morning. "I should go," I murmured, the weight of the moment settling over me as I acknowledged the need to slip back to my own sanctuary before the first light of dawn broke the spell of the night. "Shall we indulge in a conversation tomorrow? We must unravel this together." He nodded, rising to sit beside me, the air thick with unexpressed emotions. With a tender touch, he lifted the photograph and placed it into the drawer of his nightstand, as if safeguarding a precious secret meant only for his eyes. My eyes were drawn to that drawer, a flush creeping across my cheeks as I imagined him cradling my image just moments before my arrival. "I'll be here," he murmured, his voice laced with silent understanding. I lingered at the threshold, casting a lingering glance over my shoulder, savoring the moment before stepping into the unknown. The desire reflected in his gaze rendered departure an unbearable thought. I closed the door softly, each step toward my room igniting a blend of anticipation and forbidden excitement within me. I pondered whether the silence of the home would betray the secrets I held within my heart. A flicker of guilt settled in my chest, yet alongside it danced a subtle thrill of euphoria. Throughout the night, slumber danced just out of reach. My thoughts swirled in a tempest of uncertainty. Should I succumb to the weight of shame? Should I confide in my husband? Or walk away from him? Could it be that Tom and I are destined to find our way to each other, despite the shadows that linger around us? Words eluded me, leaving me in a tantalizing silence. In that fleeting moment, the void that had long haunted me was filled with an unexpected intimacy, a bond that stirred something deep within, a longing I had never fully acknowledged until now. In the days that followed, we danced around each other in the light, exchanging glances in the kitchen or living room that conveyed unexpressed emotions. In the stillness of the night, when solitude enveloped us, our feelings would surge forth once more. Kisses taken in secret, whispers shared in the shadows, and the gentle caress of fingers beneath the table, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and forbidden. It was exhilarating, daring, and shrouded in whispers of discretion. A part of me yearned to sever the connection, to distance myself before the situation spiraled into something more complicated. Yet another part of me, the one that had been starved for warmth for far too long, clung to Tom as if he were my final lifeline. The uncertainty of what lies ahead remains a tantalizing mystery to me. My husband remains blissfully unaware. I find myself ensnared in a web of conflicting emotions, caught between the weight of my marital promises and the intoxicating allure of the connection that has ignited between Tom and me. It's hard to hold him accountable. After all, I willingly stepped into this dance as well. For the first time in what feels like an eternity, I am enveloped in a sense of longing, a deep desire that awakens every part of my being, leaving me achingly aware of my own vitality. What course of action should I take? A whisper of longing stirs within me, yearning for someone to unveil the secrets I cannot grasp. A lingering part of me questions whether I will ever possess the strength to embrace what is deemed right, no matter how elusive that may be.